about it publicly, and now she had to address it. But what happened in private matters when Zach was gaining his...
That didn't bring this up.
Every one of big creators are the same. Every week there's a beef with one or other of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and we all everybody gets dragged into it.
Nikki, what I'm saying is, if you did something to me privately that I didn't like, and you apologized to me, and 1 year down the line I'm now demanding a public apology, you'd be like, take your apology and run. I've given you that privately.
I probably would.
You would apologize.
No, I wouldn't have brought it back up again after 12 months.
My point.
Lucy has replied in the comments. She doesn't go live. She just wanted to let you know he's got history doing this.
Well, thank you, Lucy, for speaking out for the victims that Zach has, scammed and made out to be. We're talking a lot about people gaslighting Zach. Let's talk about the victims that have been gaslit by Zach. Let's talk about people.
I'm going to drop down, Alex, just because I've got to cook food for the kids, but just wanted to let you know there is someone called Lucy Lockett that's been through this.
Thank you.
Can I just say something?
Thanks, just me. Yeah.
If they were talking to each other off live as well, Miss Red and Zach, you shouldn't be using the name Brat.
Zach the fat.
Well, Zach the liar. If they were talking to each other, why did he have to come on live? He sent her cards. He's been talking to her. Why couldn't he have done that private? And why wait for that poor woman to go on holiday with her family? Holidays aren't cheap. And to go through all that emotional abuse on holiday, I think that was a dirty, horrible move to do. And that is abuse. That is mental abuse on poor Miss Red.
But you can also turn it around and say that it's also abuse on him. Did you watch that man break down?
Breakdown and then
didn't follow him.
Was it a real breakdown? Was it a real breakdown?
I did not follow that man until I listened, and the pain in his eyes, you could see it.
No, Nikki, he hasn't broke down. He's been on live for 3 days making digs at Miss Red, but about
laughing.
Supposedly affected him. His whole content has been about Miss Red, and made it in a joking manner. I wouldn't call that an affected victim, not even in the slightest.
Why did Miss Red show that message of M's that was sent about over a year ago about the
because why
try to make it out like it was only
why can Zach talk about
done mental health?
1 second. Why can Zach talk about Miss Red from a year ago, but Miss Red can't talk about Zach from a year ago?
No, he made it out like that message was sent like in the last couple of weeks when about
she said she got that message when everything was going on. She didn't say it was now. So that's your assumption.
You're just turning your page at minute, because I came on your page yesterday. It just seems like you've got a thing for Zach the Brat, and you're doing what you're telling everybody else he does.
Just misread ass because he's fucking Luke the Judge's fucking mod. That's what he is.
I'm not just Luke the Judge's mod, I'm Luke the Judge's friend, but thank you for the flex. I'm sick of people trying to tell people, hey, you're this person's friend. And listen, you're evil queen supporter, which means you're a supporter of people mocking cancer.
Who said an evil queen supporter?
Excuse me, I don't support anybody.
That says a lot about you.
Well, you're carrying on like a witch at the moment.
But what are you on about? He's Luke the Judge's friend. What's that got to do with anything?
So obviously you're going to stick up for Miss Red.
No, because I got an opinion, honey. I don't run with the sheep, and if I think something's wrong, I think something's wrong.
Yeah, again, this is what I'm kind of sick of, right? Can we just, all stop assuming that we're not our own people who have our own opinions? It doesn't matter what side you're on. I have my own opinions that I formed, and Alex has his own opinion that he formed. It's not because, we support a certain person. It's just a really stupid argument.
I'm guessing you're talking to Ethan there.
Yeah, whoever said that.
Ethan. Ethna.
Yeah, I don't think you should bring up who's friends with who to create a valid point.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Thank you, Bazooka. Wow, we agree.
Like I said, I'm my own person. I have my own opinions. I don't care, if we're on the opposite side of an argument. I'm going to say, what I think is facts and,
Yeah, and that's how I like you coming in there.
Narrative.
I can never be angry at you, Bazooka.
That's because you're your own person, isn't it? We all have opinions, but we can also listen to other people's opinions.
No, I didn't kick her, by the way, beauty queen. She dropped herself. Who just joined? Cuppa, hello.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
I just want to say, I think you're doing really, really well. I've watched you in a few lives and said your bit and whatnot, and I quite like it. But one thing I do have to say about this app is where people think they get the right to come in and go mad at people on their own live and they're just meant to accept it. Why do people come in and start cursing the host and thinking, well, it's my opinion, you have to deal with it? Well, no, it's your live. If you don't want to hear it, you can turn it off.
Yeah, I mean, people can have their opinion, but no one's, I mean, just like Bazooka said, I don't think people's friends should be mentioned in this because you can moderate for whoever you want to, but ultimately, it's not a job. It's just, there's no contracts. There's nothing. It's just helping someone out because you have a kind heart and don't want hate in their chat. So that being a mod doesn't reflect anything.
Can I ask
Well,
the
no,
question?
it's just the people that come in and think, well, my opinion's better than yours. You have to listen to me. Whereas you'll sit and listen to everyone's opinion. You have a conversation. It's the screaming and shouting ones I don't like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
Bazooka?
and all the others that seem to
Yeah,
come
can
in
you
and
hear me?
think, oh, well, this person, that person.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You can have a conversation if you want, but yeah, I'm not going to be screamed at. I agree. Thank you, Copper.
It's all right. It's just,
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I've been a
Cowboy?
big Misread fan, for a while, and I love Luke, and I love Miss J, and I love Alex, I love Cockapoo, I love all of you, all for different reasons.
Well, we love you then.
And it's just the people that come in and they're like, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Well, no. It's your life,
Yeah,
you do
I
what
agree.
you want.
Cowboy, go on. Cowboy. Cowboy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So, just if anybody can tell me, because this may just be a British thing versus an American thing, but it baffles me. I'm not understanding. Just take someone like Evil Queen, right? Who claims to be evil, claims to be the evil queen, whatever, and she does all of this heinous shit and says all of this horrible shit about people, mocks people with disabilities and illnesses and all this stuff. You would never be friends with someone like that in real life, because if you were here in America and you said something like that, you'd probably get hit in the mouth. The thing is, you can't. If somebody explain to me why people support her, why do they like her so much? Okay, it's an act. Okay, well, it's a really horrible one. And at the end of the day, like Bazooka said, you shouldn't let somebody on the internet affect how you actually feel in real life. But the truth is, not everybody's going to see it that way, and a lot of people are going to be affected by it. So somebody explain to me why somebody would support somebody who is that vile. I'm just listening. Just explain it. I would love to hear a reasoning.
Oh, crickets.
This is the problem. There's a disconnect between right and wrong, but it's not. You only assume that it is because there's an out, because it's always someone else's fault, because it's always somebody else who did them wrong. At the end of the day,
Just Lee, why is this being spun on EQ? Because EQ's held about 10 lives all about her with 10,000 viewers telling people what to do to misread. No, nothing's being spun on her. She involved herself into the situation. So,
this is my point. If nobody can answer that question, then somebody tell me why people are constantly giving her the attention. Support on the app. She adds nothing to the fucking proceedings. Nothing. Right?
I think what it is that people are naturally going to gravitate to other people who share the same opinion. So, a lot of people will agree with what EQ's saying, so they'll, support her. A lot of people will agree with what Zach's saying, they'll support him. A lot of people will agree with what Luke or Misread's saying, so they'll support them. So I think that's mainly just what it is. People are just naturally going to gravitate towards people who say what they also think.
Do you know anybody in real life? Do you know
Come
anybody
closer
in real
to your
life
mic.
who shares the same core values or principles that Evil Queen shares?
I don't
Do you
think a
know
lot
anybody
of
in
people
real life that shares?
Sorry.
cover your signal. Hello.
Hello?
Do
Cowboy.
you know anybody in real life? Can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah. Stay wherever you are because that signal's good.
Okay. Do you know anybody in real life that shares the same core values or principles that Evil Queen projects on this app? Do you know anybody that's that vile in real life?
No.
I don't. I don't associate with people like that. You know, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. Hello, Jay.
Nikki, you sexy bitch.
Get off.
Jay,
I want to take you away on a dirty weekend to Skegness, Nikki.
Oh, God.
right, Jay. You're not adding anything to the conversation. Anyone else want to come up into the box to give their opinion? Like, I see a lot of people in the comments saying, "Oh, but you don't listen to our opinion, you just get muted." I haven't muted anyone at all. So come up if you want to, but you know, expect to be challenged and expect if you're going to stick up for Zach or Evil Queen, expect to be called a bully sympathizer. Is how I'd call you. Kay, what do you think?
I just think it's completely wrong. It's absolutely sad what's happening right now. The mental health, well, we won't use that word, but the way that people are being attacked should not be happening. Think of people's health at the end of the day after all of this and what they're going to go through now. It's disgusting.
Personally, and I've given reasons why I think he's sus. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be black and white. It can be a grey area where you can think about things.
Just remember, people in here, this isn't an analysis of what's being said and done in another live. It's not a bullying thing, all right? It's just about people you can make your own minds up in here. Nobody's telling you how to make your mind up.
What you have to do, you have to disconnect yourself from these people a bit when a situation happens. If someone's smiling all the time, that doesn't mean they're a nice person. If someone's angry all the time, maybe they've got stuff going on. You need to just separate yourself from them and look at it from an outside angle, and you'll see what's going on. If you've been watching Fact Freak for the last year and you think, oh, his stuff's great, deep diving and stuff, you're thinking, oh, he's going after the bad guys. But in reality, the bad guys are messaging him behind the scenes and he's picking and choosing what he puts up. It's a bit like you need to get out of the circle.
Can I just ask everyone this here now, and there's 860 plus in here, and can I just put out this question? How many of you in this chat now think that they're all in cahoots with each other? They all have a WhatsApp group. It's like a cult.
I do, 100%.
I genuinely think they're digging things up to say, oh, I know what we can do. Let's mention this. Because like it was months ago that this incident happened and whatnot. And they're like, what should we bring that up? Yeah, I think we should bring that up now because that'll really stir things up on the FYP. So I 100% think it is. They're all in cahoot with each other. They all act like they hate each other. Sorry, I shouldn't say the words. Dislike each other. 1 minute they're buddies. 1 minute they're not. Everything that they say now is complete and utter bull. Whatever they do, whatever they say, it is a cult. And if you want to be part of that cult, then go ahead. It's just winds me up royally, so bad, and especially when they mention MH.
Can I say a story?
Chippy, hang on, just let Cass speak. Hang on.
Sorry?
Oh no, Chippy. It's fine.
I just want to say, we're on about are they in a group together? Have they got WhatsApp together? Right? When I was arguing for Angie, right, and I was going against the likes of Pearl and things, right. My son came into me, he's 12 years old, and he said, Dad, why are you bothering? Because I've just looked at Delusive Angie and Pearl and Miss Red and all them. He says, they're all friends, why are you bothering?
That's the thing. I think a lot of people on this app are so consumed by it. And when I mean consumed, I don't think they do it intentionally. It is something about it that draws you in. And when you get drawn in, your mind, if you start to follow a certain creator, your mind starts to get drawn into the way that they think and the way that they explain things. And what you have to do is kind of just pull yourself back a little bit and don't be so consumed, because although you don't intentionally mean for it, you will start to act on their behalf. You will start to say things to back them. Whereas if you were sitting in a different angle looking at it, you would have a different perspective of it and have a different way of thinking about it. Yeah.
I did it. I did that with Angie. You know, I'm the first one to admit it. I got involved with that shit and acted like someone who I'm not. Do you know what I mean? And then apologised to the people that I upset over it, because that was on me, completely on me. I got consumed with all of that nonsense, and it does happen. And people will say in the comments, say, "Well, you're talking about this, so why are you doing this?" But that's what TikTok is. You know what I mean? If you can't, we're going to sit here and talk about something that happened, then people are going to go, "Well, you're talking about what happened, so you're just as bad." Well, that's not really the point, is it? That's not really a point. You have to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm trying to say there? I don't know if I got that out right. But there's also people on here who support Miss Red, right? And they're saying, "Oh, I like her," and things like that. And that's fine, yeah? And they're saying, "I back her and I support her," and that's fine as well. But I'll just say to those people, right, she has been proved to be a compulsive liar over and over and over again. And she does not care about you. She doesn't care about you until she needs your support. And then when you're gone, she doesn't give a two hoots about you unless you are supporting her and giving her a lot of money. And I know people like her and they enjoy watching her show. And there's probably a place for that sort of car crash thing. And Donna had a chance to make it good, but Donna, not Miss Red, Donna is not a good person. She is not a good person.
Do you know what the worst thing about it is, Baz, is I know a lot of people that know a lot of these ones that are on the FYPs all the time. And without the camera and without them on this app, some of them are some of the nicest people you'll come across. But then if shows then, when they come on their lives and stuff, that it's all dramatized, mate. And I've got proof of how nice some of these people are that we've mentioned. Not all, but some. And it is absolutely bonkers. Now, I've got a friend, I won't say who or whatever, that is in a band, and he bumped into CLA in London. And she ran over to him, said she's a massive fan of his band, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And she was probably one, and he said, "I don't understand how she's so nice in real life, but then she comes on here and then does what she does. It just makes no sense."
Picking up on that, right? Every one of us on here, right? Yeah. Do not use our real names. Do you know why? Because we're all characters. All our names are character names.
I do, Chippy. Thank you.
Can I just move on with the video, because we're getting a bit carried away with it. Can we just move on, because we're going to just look at our speech, okay?
So I said, "Let's do it." Because I got already follow me, give me a daily heartbeat. Let's get past here on the popular. Team bracelets and wristbands. It's just an exposure, right? So,
but she doesn't do exposures.
When I was on holiday, and you absolutely ripped into me saying that you was concerned for his mental health. That's why you weren't putting it out there. I manipulated you. But yet 2 months later, you were that concerned and you felt that manipulated that you wanted to put the images out there because, like you said, it's still pissing people off. I wasn't manipulating you, James. I just approached you to do an exposure. All right? Which we've talked about many exposures. And follow me as well, everyone. You put them out there. Basically, what happened is I think you got about 1,000 views on the post. And because I don't want to be connected to exposures, I don't,
No, but she had the time to go and look at his post to see how many views he had on it.
I go to Factory, right? I don't do exposures on here. So... It's a liar.
Just pause it a second, Milsey.
2 months after, what did you see? Was you seeing what
I think she's saying she didn't want to be involved in exposures because I think she knows the audience that she'd pull in with exposures would expose herself. I think she'd get exposed earlier on if she had an audience which were all about expose this person, expose that. And I think it fits a narrative to have some like-minded, vulnerable people in her life who are just there for the drama, not for the real nitty-gritty, just for what's going on the surface. But it's my opinion. Try Mills.
Everybody else was singing at that time about Zach. You must have done, because you said it's still pissing people off, all right? And like I say, you come on, you use your opportunity to strike me down, do your mic drop, but I hope that you mentioned that you did approach me 2 months later and you did share them images that...
Right, so just going back to what we were talking about Fat Freak there, Kaz, did you notice her word in there where she said you used your opportunity?
Yeah. It's hard to get it through to people, and I'm not an expert on this, obviously, I'm just talking, but they're all as bad as each other. The Fact Freak is just as bad as Misread. Misread is just as bad as Lou the Judge. They're all just as bad as each other. It's just who's got the bigger platform, who's got the most viewers in to tell them how bad they are, who's got the most viewers in to stick up for them. They're all the same people behind. Like, it's just, again, it's who can get their information out the quickest, in the most subtle way, in the most convincing way. And some people are good at it and some people aren't. Misread is not good at it. Is the Fact Freak good at it? Done a lot of deep diving, hasn't he? He knows how to pull the strings. He knows what to do. He knows what a good deep dive is and what a bad one is. So he just comes out with it. I'm the good guy.
You know, without actually disclosing what exactly Red has sent to him, and said to him, you need to be aware that I've had stuff sent to me by her that is very personal to yourself. You didn't have to disclose anything to him to take care of Zach's mental health, but you could have given the heads up.
I think everyone's just trying to cover their own tracks, aren't they, and trying to cover their own back. No one, let's be honest, these bigger creators, they don't care about mental health and stuff. It's just a defense mechanism for them when shit hits the fan, isn't it? Like Misread can be happy-go-lucky for every live she does for 2 years. Happiest person. Give insight. As soon as
do you not think, Kaz, she's only the happiest person when she's getting all the gifts and...
Exactly.
She is, yeah.
I've had a restriction. I'm going to have to jump off. I'll be straight back, okay? Come back in. I'm surprised it never happened earlier, but there we go.
Yeah, and this is another part of the problem that happens, isn't it? Somebody doesn't like what you've... I mean, we're not even bullying. It's not bullying. It's not about bullying. It's just about having a discussion. And yet people can't handle little truths that come out of it.
Yep, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
She's still about. She's jumping from live to live at the moment.
We'll just give it a few minutes, just try and get people back in the room, and then we'll get going again.
To be honest, I'd expect her to be hanging around for a little bit. It's in a system. She's not going to just drop a phone and not come back on it. Okay. Curiosity and all that.
I keep reading comments of people saying, oh, well, what about this person? Why are you doing about Red when there's this person? The thing is, like, she's the one that's all over the place at the moment. You can't like do a scattergun approach and like have a live about every single one of these creators who are, you know, disingenuous and putting on an act. Otherwise, you'd never make any sense. You've got to just do one subject at a time, if you like. Otherwise, you just get overwhelmed with it. You can't do whataboutism. Like someone said on there, it was saying to me about Zach. Why don't you talk about Zach? Well, I've never said I like Zach. I've never said anything like that. I can't say I know him. I've looked at his FYP thing, and it's quite funny. But I also know that Zach apologised and made amends for what he did. Now that takes balls, doesn't it? And Donna has never apologised once in her life about anything she's done. So if you're comparing Zach and Donna, then yeah, I do like Zach more, because at least he had the balls to make an apology and say, I'm sorry and I fucked up and I take responsibility for that. But she's never done that. She's never done that and won't. So yeah, if it's Zach versus Misread, then I'm on Zach's side if you have to take sides.
And this live isn't about taking sides. This live is about just like...
Yeah, it's just looking at her speech today and just kind of analysing it and picking out things that contradict what she perceives herself to be on this app. And just kind of lies, really, and how the narcissism comes out and how we can spot it. Okay, this is what it is.
He's apologised to Angie many times. He's only apologising to Angie because Angie's a complete fruitcake, so it doesn't matter whether she apologises to her or not, basically. And she doesn't mean it anyway.
It's an amazing time to be watching what's happening at the minute, because it doesn't happen all the time. And it takes sometimes the top to tumble for everyone to realise what's going on. You're watching in this live now, this red-headed lady on the image. You're watching how a narcissist works, and it's in front of your face. You can see the stages which he goes through: angry, sad, manipulative, pushing the blame to someone else. Then I'm going, the last straw, I'm leaving the app. Imagine how many inbox she's got from the vulnerable people which are up her arse. Please come back, please do this. She knows what she's doing.
It's like, do you ever watch the early days of Big Brother? The original one.
Exactly.
And someone would have a fit and say, I'm leaving, I'm walking out, so that all the others would tell her not to, or tell him not to.
Exactly.
Listen, if she was that upset about the situation, she would have just ended the live at the end. She would not have put the theme tune to BBC News on,
which was
and then slowly drift into
dramatic, isn't it? It's dramatic.
I was expecting an encore. I was expecting some good.
You know what, Kaz? I felt sorry for Uber driver outside in taxi.
Oh, Baza, you've had a violation. I think the point is as well is that, like Zach. I mean, as I say, I watch Zach every morning. I do enjoy him. I subscribe to him. I subscribe to Kaz. You're the only two people I subscribe to, and I mean, I don't think Zach wanted her to leave. I don't think that was his intention at all. I think he just wanted to say his piece, say what's happened, and you know, it's up to people to decide for themselves. And I'm sure if he probably didn't want to bring this on the app in the first place, but I think what it has done is it's highlighted this person, and it's highlighted the things that a lot of people knew, but a lot of people were also blinded by, because they get sucked into this app so much that they just become kind of one way of thinking. And I think it's good to just open people's minds to looking at things from a wider perspective and just seeing it from a different angle, and try not to be so consumed. Don't listen to what somebody tells you just because, you know, you get drawn into something. Like, you know, have your own mind. And I know people say they do have it and nothing will change them, but without knowing it, you get sucked in, and your mind does start to kind of, you do over time, right? People might not want to admit it, but it does happen. Okay, so let's just watch our next wee bit of the video and see what happens. Kaz, I'm sure you're going to cover this tonight on your show, yeah?
Yeah, but you're doing good here. I might not now. You're doing all right.
You're great, because I like listening to you. I like listening to you. No, please go ahead. Just let's see.
You were so concerned about, and I did give you permission, but I told you to pull the images because I didn't want to be connected to it, and I actually said, which I can get proof of.
Right, she just said there. Sorry, I'm going to pause it because she just said she didn't want to be connected to it, but yet she sent them to Fat Freak. Yeah, this is still on the Fat Freak thing.
Yeah.
So what she
Can I just say, I love that you're going through this piece by piece. This is why I've joined. I'm here for it all. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Myself. That's what I said to you.
Thank you for all the tea and bracelets and heartbeats. We passed that goal. Let's stay above our unhappiness. Don't let her get above me.
Zach's got these Instagram things. I'm sure Zach will.
You and Zach appears, yeah. Let me and Zach be first.
2 months after I asked Fat Free to do the exposure, he said the welfare checks need to be done. His message, and he said, "How do you feel about me putting them out there?" I said, "Do it, all right," because the whole situation was still going on. You know, Michelle was still around.
Thank you.
So that's that. So just again, on the 12th of July, bearing in mind I sent the message and the images, which I should have trigger warned, by the way. He messages me out the blue and says that
putting those messages from Zach de Brat on blast. I understand he's still pissing with people, and I think showing the messages where he's threatened to harm himself to you would, well, good luck explaining that basically if those were put out. But obviously
he's thrown back right under the bus here. Thank you, Kiki.
absolutely go for it, Jay. So I give him permission.
Permission?
And then he does it, and I say no, I don't want to be involved, take it off.
Thank you, Beth. She says permission,
right.
Sue.
Right, okay. Thoughts?
So, well, do you see the timeline there? 12th of July. 12th of July, people have been sat with them pictures, and Fat Freak sat on it as well. Since the 12th of July. And the fact that she said, you have permission. Permission.
Yeah.
So very.
She also claims, sorry.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, I was just going to say, she also claimed, remember, to be ever so affected by these, but sent them around to people unsolicited without any trigger warning.
Listen, you've got to look at things sometimes with analogies. All right, imagine there's a cash point in a lonely village. Not many people go to it. You go past it every day, £20 gets spat out. No one collects it, but you're making profit off this cash machine. One day you go to the cash machine and there's police around it and tape. Are you going to take £20? No, because there's consequence when people are there. And that's exactly what these people do. They'll take, they'll manipulate, they'll get vulnerable people crowded up like shipping pens, and they'll tell them everything they want to hear. But as soon as someone calls them out or one bit of evidence comes, gone, step back, they're the good guys, right? They only did it because of this, or they only did it because of that. But it's mad. Mad world.
Yeah. And notice how the Fact Freak didn't include this part in his fucking mic drop a moment.
Exactly.
About bringing it up again months later.
I don't know from what height he dropped this microphone. Was it 1 inch or 2 inches to a table? But it'll be interesting.
Well, I'm just calling it that, so you knew what I was talking about. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what mic drops people have on Fact Freak who come forward, because I'm sure when other people are called out who are in this circle, they're going to be like, oh well, I messaged a Fact Freak to do a deep dive on this person, or I messaged him to do this and he didn't do it. And this is just one. This is just one.
Fact Freak goes at he has this online.
I was one of them
with Feisty, doesn't he? Who's not liked at all. And understandably, whatever, he uses that quite a lot. You know, he will go really ham on this particular person. Because
do you think that's a personal vendetta against?
Yes. They were friends, yeah. They were friends who fell out, who have admitted that they both sent each other explicit pics of each other.
So I don't know the full ins and outs, so I shouldn't really be commenting on it. But from what I've seen is Fact Freak did the mic drop moment, then he went live, 1,100 people, and then he's talking about Feisty straight away. It's like he's gathering and using ammunition. He's got a big clip of ammunition now to fire at who he wants, when he wants. And it's just, I think it's going to get worse. No one's going to learn from this at the top.
I agree. I think this is just the start, Kaz. I agree, 100%.
They're just going to be more, they know what to expect next time, and they know how to cover the tracks. You know, don't message this person, don't do this, don't do that. But
it's like when you go to the fair and you try to knock them coconuts over, innit, with a ball. If one goes, they all start going, don't they?
Yeah, like I say, don't jump after Fact Freak and tell him that you love him, because in a few months' time, you might be fucking saying, "Oh God, what did I do that for?"
I think.
Well, I was. Sorry, Kaz, you mentioned about it might come out that people have approached him about things. I was one of them. I went to Fact Freak originally when I started out in Teatro, and I was told I was a troll and to go and find him more evidence. I said, no, you go and get your own fucking evidence. Excuse my French.
So, again, I've not watched a lot of Fact Freak stuff. Has he done anything on Teatro or not? Has he
He has, there is stuff. But what he done, Kaz, was he gathered everything that we'd already put on TikTok and put it all together and put it on YouTube. So, yeah, big up, Fact Freak.
Makes you think, if you're doing deep dives on people, you should be doing it for the people. Yeah. To help the people, not to benefit yourself. Like, you don't do a deep dive on someone who's on TikTok and then say, come on guys, come over to my YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel. You're trying to build.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, right? It's as if it was done, he's got another agenda, and I don't think he's a bad guy, but I think he chose to do it at the right time. I think he chose to do it before it could have been something dropped about him, or that he was brought into that he knew and didn't say it. And also it's going to obviously, as you say, help him and his platform as well, isn't it, for a possible short period of time anyway.
Certainly worked for him though, doesn't it? Certainly worked for him.
Will his platform be at 10 a.m?
Cool. The 10 a.m. slot that, like you said, Mills, I like what you said about it being an imaginary thing. She's created this imaginary slot like you'd record on a video back in the day, or you look in the fucking, like my mum and dad used to have the Radio Times, you know, you'd look at the slot to see when Match the Day's on. We're looking at the slot that she's created, the 10 a.m. Donna also used to say that she would offer somebody the after show, and it's complete crazy language. I'm going to offer you the after show. You can go.
Fucking Jezza Kale, you know what I mean?
Get it, Mikey? Can you imagine that?
This is like...
Normally when people come on at a rough time, right, they come on, or they might be at 1:15, they might come on at 5:30. I mean, even Zach himself, let's use him as an example. He always says, I'll be on about 7:30, but sometimes he comes on at 8. Do you know, nobody's really thinking, oh my God, he's on at this time, let's make sure we're there at this time, everybody drop everything and be there. So she has created this 10 a.m. slot that was never ever there in the first place. And what that 10 a.m. slot done has opened up, and because I don't know how long you've been in, right, but we in from the start.
No.
So what I was trying to explain was that Miss Red started off very small, right, and she called out a lot of creators, and when she called them out, it was just a small platform, 50 to 100 people. And what started to happen is that she started getting those creators who were pissed off at her to come into her box. When those creators came into her box, she used them to get her bigger and bigger. So she used them. A lot of people were saying on her live, or she was saying on her live today, oh, they've all used you for clout so they could come in and this and that. She used them initially to talk about them, get them in. All their followers then came in, got involved, and then what happens is after she got bigger and bigger, the toxicity starts to grow and get bigger, the branches spread out, right? Because although, I mean, you and I know we've been on this app quite a few years, right? The toxicity that is now was never what it was back then. It was there, but not to this extent. So what her platform has done over the last year and a half or whatever, it has made whatever happens on her show extend onto afternoon shows, then extend onto nighttime shows. Then people open up boxes in between and talk about all the subjects, which makes the toxicity grow and grow and grow and grow. And some people say it's not just toxicity, it could be awareness. It can be awareness, but what it does is it creates toxicity to a certain extent.
And you know what this slot stuff does, right? Is like, I've got a 3 o'clock slot. Miss Red, I've got a 10 o'clock slot. Somebody else, I've got a 12 o'clock slot.
I'm not even doing it now. I've got my 3:30 slot. 3:30 slot.
It monopolises your time. It
It's a control thing, Chippy.
Going to do. Yeah, exactly. It's monopolising control. What your day is going to be, and you're going to be that mug, or you're going to be that person that goes in there, and once they've got you in there, they're controlling you within that group, and they're going to put a narrative out on that day in that slot that can then go forward onto another slot, and by the end of that last slot, you're going to have to come back in the morning for the next slot.
Listen, slots were never a thing back in the day. Like when you remember Dan Spragg and, you know, Adam Oatley and all the other bigger creators that had huge big platforms back in the day, they never even had slots. They never said, I'll be on at this time. They might have said, I'll be on maybe around 9 tomorrow, or I'll be on around about this. And they were consistent with it, but they never had or monopolised a slot.
But Milsey, that was back in the day though, but it's even now, nobody has a fucking slot. It's them that's putting that narrative out that you've got to have a slot. It's like, no. You know what I'm saying? It's still hard. It's like, nobody's got a fucking slot.
Yes. What Donna does though as well, is part of a Miss Red act, is she does that slot, and if you listen to her, she's always said, I just come on, you know, because I go out and I do all family things, and I come on at 10, and then after I've been on and I've, you know, not about it and all that, she goes off, she does family stuff, and then she goes to bed at 7, so she doesn't know what goes on. So she's telling people in her little lies and verbiage there that you have to be here at this time because I'm just this lovely woman who's got a life outside of this, and I don't do it for any hatred, and you're going to miss it if you're not there, when in reality she's a chronically on TikTok. She's chronically online. She's been chronically online way before she was misread, way before TikTok, and the Facebook posts prove it. It all proves it. You can't change the past. And she came about when she was Mr. TikTok's mod. And she was Mr. TikTok's mod, and I think I would, guess, I'm not saying it's absolutely true, but I would guess she was doing that because she thought, okay, here's a guy who's a bit of a tragic loser, and I can stick up for him, and I can be the hero in this situation. And that's what she was doing. And we used to get onto his TikTok because he was conning the homeless, and that's how I interacted with her, because apparently I was trolling everybody, even though I used my real account and held Kevin accountable for ripping homeless people off. And she was then defending him, jumping all over people, making up accounts and attacking people. And then it all fell apart for her there. There were other things that happened there. And then she reappeared. She reappeared as this misread character, but she's still Donna to me.
Rido, sorry, I misinvited you, but
yo.
You're welcome, mister.
I was just letting us talk, yeah.
Shall we go ahead with the next part of the video?
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear that up. I felt so manipulated 2 months later, fact-free, that you wanted to put the images out anyway, bearing in mind you were so concerned.
Thank you, Claire.
There was a lot of people that wanted to spread awareness about what was going on with the money that's actually.
She knows she's taking no responsibility. Thank you, Hallie.
However, at the time, it was a different situation. I had this woman broken-hearted on the phone to me. She just worked a normal job and she was left with nothing. She couldn't afford to pay her bills. And I'm not taking away the fact that Zach at the time probably couldn't afford to pay her back. But if I'm going through hardship, if I've been through hardship, I wouldn't take thousands of pounds off a woman and leave her with nothing. And that was at that present time.
Can I just ask something here? Sorry. See, Michelle, does anybody know if the lady Michelle is Scottish?
What lady Michelle? Michelle?
Because I remember she came on and said, a Scottish lady Michelle says that, was it Diageo maybe, that was conning off her money?
Well, there's Michelle. There's the big gifter Michelle. Is that who you mean?
I'm not sure, but she's Scottish.
Yes, that's her.
Is that who it is?
I think it's the same Michelle, yeah.
Right.
She went from giving Diageo all her money to giving someone else all her money, apparently.
Right.
Remember that the images that Zach sent me in May the 23rd were from a year previous. It wasn't the here and now, all right? And I should have warned when I sent them to James. I should have asked James' permission, but I was clued up then as what I am now. I'll do things differently. And like I say, it wasn't a personal vendetta against Zach, because me and Zach weren't friends. We had no associations with anything. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just stop it? I'm just going to stop it for 1 second. I don't know if you remember earlier near the start of the live, I mentioned about how Donna back in the day didn't know how this app worked, and through being friends with the other creators has learned how to work this app. Do you remember I mentioned that earlier?
Yep.
So she just said there herself, I wasn't as clued up at that time. So obviously, once she gets into the ear and gets into the group with all these other bigger creators, they teach her, she learns, she grew, right?
Can speak, I love you, how are you? It was just, it was an exposure that people wanted to put out there.